All right, what's up, everybody? Today we are doing a student interview with my client Brandon Moore. Brandon, kick us off. Share a little bit about who you are, what's your background, and what you used to do before KCA.
Yeah, like you said, I'm Brandon. For the last almost decade, was a residential and commercial, mainly commercial there, garage door technician. So, kind of a hybrid role. You had to make the communication with the clients there and sell the repairs or the installations and come back and do them yourself. So, like I said, hybrid role there. Before that, did I worked for Airstream Travel Trailers in sales as well, and then new cars for Chevrolet as well. So kind of transferred the sales background from both those industries and took it to the hands-on department.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, what was going on before in those positions that had you looking for a transition into the high ticket sales industry.
Yeah, it's just the grind. No work-life balance. Money's good, but you're gone 90% of the day, and then you get back and you're exhausted. So, you know, the time that you've spent versus the money that you're bringing in, you have no trade-off. And so it's all work, good money, or it seems like there's nothing else in life that's making the money that you want to make, or the time and the efforts that you're putting in, it's not rewarding one way or the other. So you're sacrificing on one end of the spectrum always is what it seemed like. So just chasing the lifestyle along with the money was what really prompted me to make a change.
Yeah. Give me some examples on what that actually looked like personally for you.
Yeah, I mean, the last job specifically, you'd be gone anywhere from 7 to 12 hours on a normal day. Summer days, it could have been 14 hours when it's longer, and businesses are willing to stay open and have you come still. So you're fighting traffic as well. It depends on where you're living. It depends on where you're getting home at. You got to go where the calls come in at. So there was days where I was driving just 2.5 hours one direction just for one appointment to get to the job. And then 2.5 hours back, you're at 5 hours of driving, let alone the amount of time on that job. And most times, especially in commercial industries, you're going to be going back 2 to 3 times just for that same job. So, I mean, you could be doing the same round trip drive 3 times just to make the check on that one job. So it's very long, it's very hard on your body, draining physically, mentally. It's just not something that is sustainable long term.
How many hours were you working every week?
It would be 40 to 55.
40 to 55. Okay. And what were you making in that role?
I would average about 10,000. And then the best months I've ever seen and the best economies was maybe 15 to 20 a month.
15 to 20 a month. Okay. But for
Yeah.
you, it wasn't worth it to just be gone and
No.
driving all the time.
No, if I was making $1 million a year and had no lifestyle, it wouldn't be worth it for me.
Yeah. What was it that you were missing out on at home? Like, what was your, like, a little bit more about your personal why?
I mean, yeah, I'm a family man. I have a wife, two sons, and I value the time with the ones that I love most more than money. And so finding a role in life that you can do both is extremely hard to do in this rat race that we call life nowadays. And just not sacrificing for that and putting family first. That's what is most important to me. So, I mean, I'd like to spend my time with the ones I love most and have the finances to do things here and there that are also fun that where if you want to go out to dinner, if you want to do something on the weekends, you can't say no to the wife or kids because you don't have the finances to do it. Yeah, you have the job and you're able
Hmm.
to spend time with them, but you don't have the finances to do the things
Hmm.
to do the things that you like.
Yeah, man. So, you've been a client of mine for, I mean, how long has it been now? It's just coming up on a couple months. How
Right.
long has it been? Like 4 months, maybe?
Yeah, about 4 months.
About 4 months. Yeah. So, like, I mean, we can talk about the journey here in a second, but what kind of wins have you seen since joining KCA from the beginning till, now? Like, obviously, there's the big win, and that's why we're here. But
Right.
share a little bit about that.
The big win is landing a role that I really think is a dream job, in my opinion. Trying to find the things that you're passionate about in life and making that a career is everybody's dream. So for me personally, it's health and fitness, and then helping people. I didn't realize that was something that was, such a passion of mine until while on these garage door appointments, talking completely different separately about their needs while I'm there. They're asking me about health questions. And I found myself very passionate about answering their questions, helping them out, and staying in contact with these strangers that I have no I'm not receiving anything for giving this advice. I'm just finding value in it, and it's rewarding.
Yeah.
And so finding a career doing that is what everybody's dream is, and that's what you guys have helped me do here at KCA is land that dream job. So that's the biggest win. The second thing I would say is it's sharpening my own personal skills, my sales skills that I already had. It's taking those to the next level. Iron sharpens iron, and if you don't use it, you lose it. So just staying constantly immersed in learning and getting better and overcoming objections and just people handling, and building rapport with people. It's been the second biggest win.
Yeah. So share us a little bit about the details of the offer that you're on. Who's it with? What's the company? Like, what are they doing revenue wise? What's the on target earning look like for you? What's the offer? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm with Dr. Pompa program now. So he's
Bang.
seen
There
anything
we go.
online. Yeah. He's all over the internet. So very well known. Just a very tailored custom process to each and individual client that comes along with us to take their life back and health back. So I mean some of these clients have been sick for 40, 50 years. Some of them are just, biohackers and want to get optimized and they're looking to do everything they can. So it's really a whole broad spectrum of anybody who could be coming to us looking for getting their health and the way that they want to see their lives, changed. And so the most rewarding part is taking people who have been sick for 20 or 30 years and nothing else has worked. They've thrown prescriptions at them. They've tried every protocol that Western medicine has offered. And we are unfortunately, they're coming to us as a last resort. They're just hearing about us now. It's a process that's not well known in mainstream, but taking people who are bedridden and making them healthy again and seeing people who couldn't walk and get their lives back, that's rewarding. So the offer is, you know, you are taking every walk of life and seeing if they're a good role for the program. And if they are, we'll make an offer, clinical recommendation. On target earnings are anywhere from ten to $30,000 a month.
What are the top reps doing on that team right now?
They don't share that information, but we've heard 40 is kind of their standard.
Hmm. That's
Yeah.
sick, man.
Yeah.
10% commish.
It's 8% commission. The offer is a little bit more than the average, so the money is there in the offers.
Hmm.
So yeah, offer is 12 to 14K
Okay. And you get
for
8%
1 year,
commission on that.
right? And it's a 1 year long program.
Nice, dude. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
So, dude, funny story. I want you to share a little bit about. So, you even came to me, our client Jeremy, he's on that offer right now. You saw it in our program. You're like, dude, I want that offer because we had it open for people to apply to it. And so you're like, dude,
yeah.
I want this offer so bad. And you applied to it. I mean, I'll let you tell the rest, but I just think that's so awesome how quickly things turned around.
Yeah, I applied to it, and it just depends on who's looking at it and what they want, or how full they are. And come to find out, they were really full for their hiring program, and there was an odd number of people. There was 11. They usually only take 10, so they're already full. They said no right off the bat from my application, without even scheduling an interview. So I reached out to you, was a little bit bummed out, but prayed about it, and just said if it's not your will, God, it's not your will. I'm not going to get burnt out on anything, and there's a million other things that I'm going to stay steadfast about and go after that, and I'll be wherever you place me. And you kind of said the same thing, guaranteed that you backed up those words, said don't get your head down, but I'm going to reach out to a buddy here that was in our program who's actually working for them, and he sure did. He reached out on my behalf, got me an interview with the hiring manager, and before you know it, they hired me, and I went through their boot camp. Out of the 11 that they hired, they only accepted 7 of us. So funny story. I would say another win that's huge is they have a script for objection handling. My computer went completely black. Like when I was doing their final test out, and this is how important it is to just practice that repetition, sharpen your iron, and stay immersed in this, is because my computer went completely black. I couldn't even see the guy talking on the screen. And instead of following their scripts, that you're allowed to kind of look back a little bit here and there, but they'll watch your eyes. You can't be looking like you can't look at the screen like you're reading things. So you kind of have to just know it by heart. I couldn't remember it and I was all flustered in the moment. So what I actually closed in with objection wise was the script that I had mentally remembered from KCA. Yeah.
Dude, there we go. Let's
Yeah.
freaking go, dude. That's so awesome. What was the objection he gave you? And like, what was the,
It was a nice, I want to think about it,
oh, dude,
objection and wife.
dude, that's
So
so
two.
awesome. Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was so funny because you were like, dude, I really want this offer. And then like right, I didn't think it was funny that they told you like, oh, we don't have spots. I was like, dude, that freaking sucks. But in my head, I was like, dude, I don't care what happens. Like Brandon was so passionate about this offer. I'm gonna do whatever it freaking takes to get him on the offer. So I'm like, okay, let me reach out to Jeremy. Jeremy, for those of you guys that are watching, that's the case study video that we just did a couple of videos before this one. He's crushing it on that offer right now. Um, which is probably the reason why they brought you on, right? Because I texted Jeremy, I was like, dude, Brandon just applied for this position. They just rejected him without even doing an interview. Could you put in a good word for my guy, right? Like, if there's anything that you can do for me in return for me getting on that offer, just put in a good word for my dude, Brandon, right? And dude, literally 30 minutes later, he's like, he's got a call coming his way. And so it's
Yeah,
so funny. They were like, dude, we're not even interested because we overhired to doing the interview and then hiring you. And then you from there, like passing it from the initial interview to then passing the onboarding, which is
right.
just so sick. So that's
Yeah.
awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean that was so fun. I love that, and that hasn't happened often actually. Like, but whenever we do have clients that are in roles that people are wanting to apply to, that makes a great advantage because if Jeremy's doing really good on that offer, he's one of the top reps on the team, and they're like, hey, I got another guy who's coming from the same academy that I came from. That gives you a massive leg up from all the other people who are coming that might not have been formally trained or might not have someone that can put in a good word for them. So I thought that was so cool, dude. Um, yeah, outside of that, like if you had to describe the journey through KCA, what the training is like, the support, the community, like what's your perspective and your thoughts on that?
I was gonna say that's probably my third win with KCA. Is this is not just a take your money and run program. This is a true brotherhood. For, just everybody's got everybody's back, and there's just so much that goes on that is not even KCA related about. Let's try and talk, how to get better about sales or whatever it may be. There's just such a relationship that you build with everybody in here. Everybody has each other's backs. We're so encouraging. Things could be going wrong in your life, which almost everybody has problems, and everybody's just here and they're so nice and kind. And it really is just a part of a network that you want to be a part of forever. It's not just a couple months. So the lifestyle and the culture behind KCA is just, it's nothing else there is nothing else like it out there that I found.
Hmm. Tell them about the accountability.
To go into depth with that a little bit more.
Yeah, the accountability of like, like what kind of caliber do you need to be if you want to be in this program and actually get results?
I would say the caliber depends on your ability to show up and be accountable to yourself. You can say that I'm the best and I'm gonna do all this, but if you don't actually show up and do it, your word's worth nothing. So the caliber, I would say, it really just comes from the culture inside KCA that grows inside of everybody that makes everybody more accountable in that and of itself. So, just being a part of the culture and coming out of KCA on the other side, once you get the green lights to go and apply to these positions and start getting after it, you're at a high caliber
Hmm.
naturally.
Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted, I will say, if that's the right word.
Right.
Because I think there's tons of programs out there that will say like, hey, we'll help you achieve X, Y, Z result, and we'll help you achieve X, Y, Z result, and we have a guarantee this, that. Reality is that there's no guarantee though. Like every program has students who crush it, and every program also has students that just absolutely fail. You've seen it. We have students in there that crush it, and now you ended up being one of them. And then you've also seen it. We also have students that show up on the group calls and like, they're in the exact same spot they were when they joined. And so there's both ends of the spectrum, right? And it's like the results that people get in this program is directly correlated to how much work they put in because I mean, being completely frank, most business owners won't admit this, especially if you're running like a coaching program, but it's like there's not 100% success rate. It's, the caliber of individual you have to be to actually achieve results in any program is someone who can show up every day, put in the work to learn the skills necessary and also be able to like, take a kick in the balls when they need it. Like, hey, dude, you're messing up here. Make sure you don't do that again.
Yep.
And yeah, man. So,
Yeah.
I think the reason why you're on this call today is because you took the feedback really well. You took the accountability really well. I think there was one time where you were just like, dude, I'm overwhelmed and blah, 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 blah. And I had to talk you down and, and it all ended up working out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. and you want to do so well and you want to progress so quickly, and you want to run before you can even crawl. And then that's what it takes, a real coach to slow you down and make sure that you start walking and then you can run
Mhm.
first. So yeah, that's what you did. And I'm sure it comes with my nature. I'm a go-getter. I want to be perfect the very first try. And so just any type of imperfection is just something that gets at me where I want it for myself more than anybody. So yeah, you did a great job of just kind of roping me back in and making me realize. I think you said your words were, "How many calls have you taken?" And I said six, and you said, "Okay, I've taken 6,000. I can't. I don't want to. I don't expect you to be at my level at
Yeah.
number call number six."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was awesome, man.
yeah.
Um, anyways, outside of that, dude, like going from, what you used to do for work before and now landing like a role where you're passionate about what you sell, you're able to do it from home, and you've got like 100 to 300 grand a year on target earning, like what kind of impact personally for you, like tangibly, is this going to make in your life, like at home in the future? What's going to be different?
It's all around happiness, is the first thing that comes to mind. Just not having to deal with what frustrates you, at your current job, whatever that may be, whether it's the boss, whether it's the income, whether it's the hours, or it's all of it combined. In my case, it was that alone just brings you happiness, and then also finding something that you're passionate about makes you even more happy. You're in a position to where you don't dread getting up to work every single day. You're passionate to show up. You're passionate to do better. You're passionate more around the ones that you love because it's transpiring through you. And so, yeah, just overall happiness in the household has increased, and it gives you an easier outlook when you can focus on yourself more rather than some outside factors that you can't control that are weighing on your shoulders every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, man. What about the way that show up at home for your wife and your family?
Yeah, it's the other thing that's cool about KCA and Dr. Pompa is it's both Christian companies, and so being able to go to work for someone that is a part of the kingdom that I am fighting for as well. It's just all around. It's all around joy. And so whenever I'm able to show up more for my family, even in a spiritual way. Every day I'm waking up now working for the kingdom, and when I'm leaving work, I'm just in that mindset already rather than the day is dragging on. And so being a better husband, being a man of God and being a biblical man of God and staying in that mindset all the time is so hard to do with this day and age. And it just makes it so much easier whenever you're not stressed out every single day to the max. And so it's transpired into the marriage, it's transpired into the kids, just all around happiness.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So, as someone who, once you were at a point where you were on the discovery call where you're like, dude, I'm debating on if I want to do KCA or not. You saw our ads, you booked on a call, right? And then you talked about, oh, I want this and I want this, and now you're on the other side of it, like actively getting closer and closer to that goal. What are your words for someone who is once in the position that you used to be in, right? They've seen our ads, they've seen our testimonials, maybe they've known about us for a while, they're debating on even booking a call, or maybe they have booked a call with us in the past and they're just on the fence on if they should join KCA or not. As a let's just call it a graduate of KCA, what is your words for them?
I would say you need to take a step back and look at yourself in the mirror and look at where you are now and look at where, if you are on that fence, who's booked a call and has done nothing about it. It's very simple. If nothing changes, nothing changes. I use that analogy of, you see all these videos of people trying to run and they try and jump across whatever little gap they're trying to jump across. But if they stutter step, then they fall into that ravine. You're always going to miss your landing on the other side if you don't go 100% all the way in. Nobody who's doing some daredevil stunt on a motorcycle says, "Let me try halfway," and then falls into the canyon. Doesn't happen. You're either all in or you're all out, and you won't have success any other way.
There you go. Wise words from a wise man. I love it, dude. Cool. Yeah, dude. Well, it's been a blast working with you. Every time I do these interviews, I always just think back of like the first call that, you know, the client had with us, and, getting you to a point to where you're actively getting closer and closer to those goals is really fulfilling. And that is not I mean, I can, lead you and give you the instructions, but it's up to you to actually take it, and you've put in the work. You've been a phenomenal client to work with, dude. It's been really, really fun, and I can't wait to see, what you make out of this opportunity. So I'm really, really stoked to see how, the next couple of years goes for you. Yeah, and that's about it. Do you have anything you want to end with? Ending notes to somebody who might be watching this?
Do it. There's no time like the present. You know, that's as simple as it is. Stop hesitating, pull the trigger, and change your life.
There you go. Cool. Well, anyways, that's it for today's video. We will see you on the next one.